My child, I saw that moment. Yes, that one. The moment you didn't talk about, when everything inside you collapsed, but no one around you noticed. You sat in silence, maybe at the edge of your bed, maybe in your car with the door closed and the music off, maybe in a crowded room that still felt like isolation. You didn't have to say anything for me to feel the scream buried in your chest. You were at your limit. Life had taken more than you had to give, and every effort to hold on felt like a slow unraveling of who you used to be. You questioned why things hadn't changed, why your prayers echoed back without an answer, why the light you once carried now felt dim and distant. You started to wonder if you were being punished, if you were being ignored, or worse, if I had stopped seeing you at all. But I never stopped seeing you. You have no idea how closely I've watched you navigate the storm. You think I only saw your failures, but I saw your fight. I watched every time you chose to keep going, when giving up felt easier. I saw you smile at others while your heart was breaking. I saw you show up when you had every reason to disappear. I saw you open your Bible, even when the words fell hollow. I saw you whisper prayers that didn't sound strong, but were soaked in raw truth. And I want you to know that was never weakness. That was worship. You didn't have to be loud for me to hear you. You didn't have to be perfect for me to love you. You didn't have to feel worthy for me to draw near. The very moment you thought about giving up, I moved closer. I came nearer to you than you've ever realized. I didn't wait for you to fix yourself. I didn't wait for you to feel spiritual again. I didn't wait for you to put on a mask of strength. I came when you were undone. I stepped in when you were unraveling. I entered the space of your deep, wordless ache because I am not a distant God. I am near to the brokenhearted, near to the crushed in spirit. My presence is not reserved for the triumphant. It flows toward the desperate. And you, my child, were never more surrounded by me than when you thought you were alone. I held your mind when it raced with anxious thoughts. I stood between you and the darkness that tried to convince you it would win. I wept with you when your tears fell into your pillow. I defended your name in spiritual places you'll never see. And every time you almost gave up, something pulled you back from the edge. That was me. You may not recognize how many times I intervened. The car accident that didn't happen, the panic attack that calmed, the message that came right when you needed it, the person who randomly checked in. Those were not coincidences. That was me whispering, I see you, because I knew you didn't need a lecture. You didn't need guilt or shame. You needed presence, and I gave you mine. Even if you didn't feel it, even if you doubted it, even if you couldn't believe it at the time, I never left. I'm not the one who walks away. When the pain deepens, I come closer. When the fire grows hotter, I stand with you in flames. When everyone else leaves the room, I stay behind. And when you thought about giving up, I reached out and held you even tighter. You don't need to explain to me what you've been through. I already know. I saw the betrayal that still echoes in your heart. I saw the losses that words can't capture. I saw the battles you fought in silence, the kind that left invisible bruises on your soul. I watched as you tried to be strong for everyone else while secretly breaking inside. You have carried burdens that weren't yours to carry. You've accepted blame for things that were never your fault. You've questioned your worth, your purpose, and even your existence. And yet, through all of that, here you are, reading this, breathing alive. That in itself is a miracle. You don't see how far you've come because you've been walking through fog. But from where I stand, every step you've taken has been a victory. Every tear has been a seed. Every sigh has been a prayer. And every time you kept going, you declared, I'm not alone, even when you didn't feel it. Your spirit knew I was there. And here's the truth you need to hold on to now. You're not failing, you're becoming. This pressure, this pain, this emptiness, it is not a grave. It is a womb. Something is being formed inside of you through this very season. You thought it was the end, but I'm writing a new beginning. You thought you were abandoned, but I was building intimacy with you that no storm can shake. You thought you lost everything, but I am revealing what cannot be taken. And though you almost gave up, you didn't. That matters. That speaks. That carries weight in the heavens. Because even a mustard seed of faith can move mountains. And I've seen you're still alive beneath the rubble. That's why I drew close. Not because you earned it, but because I love you too deeply to ever stay far away. This is not the end of your story. It's the part where everything turns. And I will walk with you through every page from here. I am not in love with your performance. I am in love with your heart. I did not choose you for your perfection. I chose you because you are mine. So breathe, rest, and let me hold the pieces. What you thought was breaking you is actually making room for something greater. Don't run from this moment. I am in it. Don't be afraid of the silence. I speak there, and don't let go now, because the next chapter is closer than you think. I know what you've been asking yourself. If God is really here, why does it still hurt this much? If he's so close, why does it feel like I'm the only one fighting? And I hear the deeper question behind them all. Does he still care? I do. And I need you to understand this. Not in your head, but in the depths of your soul. My care for you has never been based on how visible I am to you. My love doesn't retreat when your emotions shift. I don't grow distant when your faith feels weak. Your pain does not drive me away. It draws me in. You've learned to survive by staying strong. You've taught yourself to keep going even when no one claps, even when the answers don't come. That endurance you've carried has been noble. But I don't want you to live in survival mode forever. I want to bring you into healing. I want to lead you from just enduring to living again. But for that to happen, you need to stop pretending you're okay. You need to stop numbing what's broken inside you. You need to stop isolating yourself in fear that no one would understand what you've really been carrying. I understand. And I'm not repelled by your mess. I step into it. I want to meet you there. And right now, it's wrapping around your spirit, whispering, come back to me. Not in shame, not in guilt, but in rest. I want to carry what you can't anymore. Let's talk about what's really been happening in your heart. You haven't just been tired. You've been spiritually weary. You haven't just been discouraged. You've been wounded in places few can see. And in your quiet moments, you've thought about walking away from it all. Not because you hate me, not because you stopped believing entirely, but because it's been so long since you felt anything real. That's why I came close, not to condemn, but to awaken, not to judge, but to embrace. I want to restore your ability to feel again, to cry again, to believe again, to dream again. You were made for connection with me, not a life of constant striving. You weren't created to carry this weight alone. And here's what I want you to do. Let me speak again. Let me into your silence. I know the voices you've been listening to lately. Voices of fear, of shame, of regret. They've been too loud, haven't they? But my voice is still here, and it still calls you by name. Not by your failure, not by your labels, by your name, the one I gave you before the world ever touched you. And I'm calling you now. Not to religion, not to performance, but to closeness, to relationship. I want you to turn your heart toward me again, even if it feels awkward, even if it feels weak. Because it's not about how strong your steps are. It's about the direction you're facing. Turn toward me, and I will meet you there. You've been trying to carry the weight of everything by yourself, but I never asked you to. In fact, I told you, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. You weren't designed to carry shame, fear, or the pressure to be everything for everyone. You were designed to live inside my grace. And my grace isn't just for your best days. It's for today, for this moment, for the messy middle, for when you're not okay. And if you'll let me, I'll carry what's crushing you. I'll sit with you in the tension. I'll walk you out of this valley, not through instant escape, but through holy presence. You will feel me again. You will hear me again. But you have to open your heart to me right here, right now. So pause, breathe, and say this to me, even if it feels small. God, I don't even know what to say, but I need you. That's all I need. I can work with that. I can meet you in that. Because I'm not waiting for the perfect words. I'm just waiting for your heart to turn toward mine. And when it does, even just slightly, I rush in with peace that doesn't make sense, with mercy that heals the unseen places, with love that rebuilds what was broken by life. You may not feel it yet, but you will. Stay with me. Keep your heart open. Because everything changes when you stop hiding and let me truly see you again. What you're going through right now isn't just a difficult season. It's a spiritual battle. And it's not just happening around you. It's happening within you. The weight you feel isn't only emotional. It's also deeply spiritual, and it goes deeper than you've realized. This is why it's been hard to explain to others. This is why their advice hasn't helped. Because they're speaking to the surface. But what you're facing lives in your soul. You're not only tired in your body, you're tired in your spirit. You've been feeling disconnected, not just from people, but from yourself and from me. The problem isn't that you're weak. The problem is that you've been carrying burdens you were never meant to bear. You let shame become your companion, disappointment your daily language, and silence your secret prison. Your thoughts have become heavy, swirling with questions like, am I enough? Is this my fault? Did I miss my chance? And slowly, those questions have turned into beliefs. You've started to believe that something in you is broken beyond repair, that maybe the promises were never for you, that maybe this life is just about surviving. But that's a lie. That is not my voice speaking to you. That's the voice of the enemy, the one who comes to steal your joy, kill your hope, and destroy your identity. And he's been whispering those lies in your most vulnerable places I want to heal. You see, the enemy doesn't fear your past. He fears your future. He isn't intimidated by your mistakes. He's terrified of your restoration. That's why he works so hard to keep you down. Not through obvious attacks, but through subtle inner dialogue, through fatigue, through isolation, through that quiet inner voice that says, nothing is ever going to change. But I've already declared something over you. You are more than a conqueror, not by your strength, but by mine. And it's in your weakest moments that my power is made perfect. That's not just encouragement, that's truth. Truth that can break chains and shift atmospheres. Truth that doesn't ignore pain, but walks straight through it and rewrites the ending. There's a war over your soul, and I am fighting for you. But I will not force myself in. I am gentle. I knock and I wait. I call you, and I draw near when you whisper even the faintest yes. But I need you to see the truth. Your exhaustion isn't a sign that I've left. It's a sign that you've been trying to live without letting me breathe fully into you. You've been disconnected from the source of your life. You've been trying to win battles with empty hands. You've been trying to pour out love when your own heart is empty. That's not what I created you for. I designed you to live out of overflow, not scarcity. I didn't ask you to prove your worth. I gave you worth. I didn't call you to constantly strive for approval. I chose you before you were even formed. And I didn't leave you in the desert. I'm leading you through it. Yes, even now, even when you don't feel it, you're still moving forward. You're still being held. But you must stop agreeing with the voices that have distorted my heart. I never said you were too much. I never said you failed me. I never said you're forgotten. My word says the opposite. That I leave the 99 to find one. That I bind up the brokenhearted. That I give beauty for ashes. That I restore what the locusts have eaten. And none of those promises come of fine print. They are for you, now, in this exact moment of your life. Video ending. My precious child, I have never left your side, and I never will. When you felt like giving up, I held you tighter, and I'm holding you still. Trust me in this valley, for I am leading you to a place of healing and hope. If this message has stirred your heart, please subscribe and become part of our family. Your support means everything, as together we seek the love and truth that carries us through. Amen.